Good morning and welcome to Trading with Larry. It's Larry Benedict, joined by Eric Shamalov every weekday, Monday through Thursday, 8:30. You can see us at Trading with Larry on YouTube Live, and a lot to talk about, Eric. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you took home some Bitcoin short. Bitcoin does not look good.
I
You know,
did not. I did not. I went. I've been long Ethereum, but look, I got in at a good level. Let's see where we're at, but it doesn't look good today for crypto. That's for sure.
Oh, I don't know. But when you say you got it in a good level, what does that mean? Like you made good money and now you're giving back profits. So I don't know. So what does the level have to like to me, I always looked at it as a trader. Wherever that thing traded or marked to market, that's where I had it. And I think that leads us into the problem with retail. And I saw a lot of cracks in the armor in retail this week. I saw, I saw a lot of phone calls on Wednesday when the Nasdaq dropped over 1,000 points in literally 2 days or 2.5 days. Um, People freaking out when their long Palantir from 100 or 90 and it's trading at 142. They're freaking out thinking it's going to 40, where the guy from Citron Research, left, said it was going. And obviously, I had to tell the guy to sit tight and relax. And now it's up $10, $15 from there, and there's no phone calls. And, Friday to me was a really weird trading day. You had Jackson Hole, you had him literally cave to Trump in a way, but really the reaction to me should have come in the bond market, and the bond market has given back every stitch of the small gain it had on Friday, and the S&P hasn't even come close to giving back a quarter of that gain. So something is weird in here. Markets are I think they're looking for something that's not going to happen. And what I mean by that is he said things, okay, but really it's not indicating much of a rate policy change in my book. Maybe this is the one to shut Trump up. Give him a quarter. Let's see what happens. Go through the end of the year. Now you're into next year, and let's see. Listen, you're seeing across the board increases coming from the producers. I've been reading about it all weekend. So you're going to start seeing massive inflation, I believe. So I don't know what the Fed is stuck. And the Fed, I know when we're discussing it, you thought maybe he'd talk about PPI and inflation and et cetera. He didn't do that. And I think a lot of the reason why he couldn't take it anymore. The Fed is a house on fire. He's hitting them. This guy Pulte is hitting them. Vance everybody's hitting the Fed. And now by doing or saying what he said, which was really, to be honest with you, mumbo jumbo, it wasn't real. It's not anything. He's still data dependent, with the dual mandate. That the Fed, now he can't say anything about the Fed. Trump has to lay off the Fed. He's going to cut a quarter. I'd love to know what the Fed funds odds are. It's probably 100% in. And here we sit and,
Yeah,
move.
remarkably, they're not 100% for September. 81%.
Well, how could it only be 81%? It was 80% when he spoke. So it's very weird. I would,
Well, you said it earlier. I mean, rates, bonds basically gave back all of their gain from Friday.
right. But why didn't the S&P? I mean, listen, day is young. You don't know what's going to happen, but why? Why do they keep bailing out these weak? What's funny? Retail or investors in general are fairly weak right here in my book because, like, listen, if I bought a stock at 100 and it's now 140 or 150, why would I be freaking out? Tell me why I'm freaking out. Why this the same guy called me in Meta at 700, he bought the stock at 400. I mean, why is he freaking out? Why are people freaking out when stocks have like a little bit of a down move? Why? I'm just don't under. I mean, that to me is the hands of weak investors in general. You know, investors are up money and weak, which usually they're up money and very strong. So that's the question I have really that I can't answer myself because I'm really trying to think about it. But I'm not sure why that is.
Well, it's like in bull riding. I was watching on ESPN bull riding. It's pretty cool, and it's very similar. They're riding the bull, but they know that at a certain time the bull is going to knock them right off.
Well,
And I think they're a little scared of that. I think they have that in the back of their mind.
okay, but it's a good analogy. But let me ask you a question: if you bought a stock at 100 and it's now 150, why wouldn't you sell it? You want more? You think these stocks should give you
Different. No,
100% gains? No,
it's a
no. You
it's a different mentality. You're expecting them to have the
Yeah, but they're
same.
riding the bull, like you just said. They're riding a bull. Okay. When you're riding a bull, you can die. Okay. That bull could step on your head. That bull could trample you. Okay. So my question is, when you say they're riding the bull, they're on the bull, and the bull is, throwing them off or whatever. Why don't they make a move? Why do they keep getting on? Like, what is enough? Like, the average gain for the S&P over the last 100 years is probably 7%. Dude, no one wants a 7% return or a 10% return or even a 20% return. They want psycho land. And when we get to this, it's a big problem. Like, look at Nvidia. It's up huge for the year. It's up massive over the last 5 years, crazy numbers, and no one will sell a share. And the earnings are coming up Wednesday. And don't you think? I mean, listen, it's Jensen Wang, so he's like coming out with a pink tutu and pom poms, and he's going to be cheerleading this thing to infinity because that's just what he does. He would never say they have an issue or a slowdown or anything. So I don't expect that out of these earnings. But at some point, the gains are going to be subdued. And I think, and I've said it to you before, I think you're going to see a NASDAQ down over 100. I mean, 1,000 in a day. Okay. It's down 100 now, but I think we're going to be down 1,000 plus in a day. And if you look at 3 days of trading, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of last week, it was down 1,000. It was
It's
down
interesting.
over
It's
700
interesting
in
you
2 days.
mentioned Nasdaq. It's interesting you mentioned Nasdaq as the one that's going to fall hard. I mean, you look at the index since August; it looks much worse than the S&P. And even with Friday's move, it's considerably off its recent high relative to the S&P 500.
Yeah, but what's going on in the bond market? Let's discuss that. That's where I think the big problem is. I mean, what, the bond market doesn't believe? They don't believe?
No,
Okay, so if they don't believe, how do the stocks believe?
I don't believe. I'm actually looking to add to now. I'm looking to add to the bond short.
Oh, okay. You've been short the whole time. Okay.
Very small. Small. Well, I have been. What do you want from me?
Dude, you're the best. I, I think we need to show this stuff because now it's down and you're back in. When it was up on Friday, a figure, you were fine. I mean, come on, whatever, all good. I am long bond.
What do
You
you
know
want me
what?
to
I am actually
show my
long bond.
P&L? I could do that too.
I'm long bonds. We had a decent day on them Friday, but you know what the problem is?
What's the
Like,
problem?
I'm trying to find something with more beta and a little bit more volatility than TLT. Like, I'm long TLT, okay? TLT is only down 30 cents, 36 cents today. I mean, on Friday I made 60 cents. You know what I'm saying? It's not enough. It doesn't move enough. So I got to figure out what to do because on one hand you have futures which move like crazy.
Yeah, but why don't you just do a deep in the money TLT with a close to
I
one
do. I
delta?
do. I do.
What's the
Still,
problem?
it only moves 30 cents. So what's the difference? I'm doing it in deep in the money. I'm doing a $4 option that has a 99 delta or a 95 delta that's moving 1 to 1, but the actual move of TLT is tiny. It's a tiny move. You know,
So
I
for your customers, you can't, you don't control how much they size, but for your own book, you
well,
can
what are you
just
talking about? It doesn't, I have to size very large, and the bottom line is it's just not worth it. Like even on Friday where I was totally right, okay? I mean, how many options am I going to have? 2,000, 3,000? I mean, it's a big number of options. It's just not a good enough vehicle to
So what
trade.
are you were long into Jackson Hole on bond?
Yeah, I had a long
What are
position.
you doing with that right now?
I added to it, which obviously didn't work. But like I said, from Friday to today, it's up 20 cents. It's moved 60 cents on, dude, it moved six. Listen to this. It moved 60 cents on Jackson Hole, and the spoon moved 100 hand. Dude, the spoon move was so fake. I mean, it is what it is, but time out. Let's discuss something. Before the guy uttered one word, the I had long S&P. We sold him up 40 before he uttered a word. So why either that was leaked or I don't understand. Why was it up 40 before he uttered a word? That's the question. Because either the speech was leaked, okay, or somebody had it. Because if you want to go to your machine and go to right before at 9:59, we were up 40 handles on the S&P. We ended up 90 handles. We were up half that move before he spoke. And what he actually said, I don't even know why they got so crazy. Honestly, I don't know why. So, here we sit. We'll see what happens. We have I think a durable goods number on Tuesday, which is not that meaningful. We have Nvidia earnings, which are going to be unbelievable. The greatest earnings on turf is the greatest earnings of all time, and then we're on to the jobs unemployment number. And claims not a big deal, and then Friday I think is PCE, so that's all week. It's
That
basically.
PCE number is going to be interesting because the whole premise of why I'm short bonds is because the producer inflation is already showing a good size inflation above expectations. CPI doesn't show it yet, but there's a 2 month lag to the PCE. So as goes the PPI, goes the PCE. So we should be seeing an uptick. And right now they're after Friday. They think we're going to get rate cuts in December also.
I
So
get it, but do you really think that that's coming into play? I mean, it's 100 in my mind. Listen, I'm going to find a way through equities somehow, if I can, to trade these Fed fund futures. Um, you know, I think there's 100% chance he's cutting rates. I don't understand how you're at 80. I don't know how the market's at 80. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
can you imagine if he doesn't cut in September?
What was that, Eric?
I said, could you imagine if he doesn't cut in September?
Dude, he's cutting. Stop. It's not even. It's not even. It's not even anything. I mean, come on. The guy can't take it. That speech was so bogus on Friday that it was insane. Like I don't even know what literally what it was. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any idea what it was. Literally. Why he had to come out with that after having such a weak, situation with PPI, and really the Fed's dual mandate of basically growth and inflation, and he's ignoring that. And you know again, I didn't read the speech line for line, but was he really I know the market perceived that he was cutting rates, but I don't know. I don't know. And it was it was so angering. It was just such a throwaway speech, like why did he have to do that? Like, what's the reason he did it? Isn't he data dependent for the next 3 weeks?
Yeah.
No?
I heard something interesting from Loretta Mester. She used to be in the Fed, and she was like, a lot of these Jackson Hole speeches is not just communication with the public, but she's like, these speeches are also communication to the other Fed governors. And she was surprised, and she's like, I'm sure a lot of the other Fed members were surprised by Powell.
Why? I would say the
Like,
entire inside of the Fed wants rate cuts. I mean, they're all applying for the job of the Fed chairman, and they want to go out with rate cuts to please their boss. But I want to let you know something. The chairman of the Fed, who makes the decision, doesn't care about any of them. I mean, he cares, he'll listen, but he's making the decision. He has to live and die by it. So I don't know why he's signaling to other members of the Fed like he shouldn't care. Never in the history of the Fed. Listen, you have Paul Volcker, you have Greenspan, right? You have Bernanke, and then what do you have after that? Him, Powell.
no,
So
after Bernanke, it was I forget her name. It was the lady.
Oh, Janet Yellen. Yeah.
Janet.
Okay. Okay, Yellen and then Powell. So here's my question to you. Name one Fed voting member during any of those times. You can't even do it because, yeah, Mester, she was a voting member for a little while. Then they become non-voting members. The only one that matters is the chairman. The chairman is the one that makes the decision by themselves and lives and dies with that decision. Not
Don't they vote? Don't they vote
no,
on?
no. They vote, but it doesn't matter. They vote. They all say, "Hey, I want to raise. I want to ease." What if someone wants to raise? And what if someone wants to ease? I'm telling you, it's the full determination of the Federal Reserve chairman to make that call. Okay, and the greatest one of all time is Paul Volcker. He didn't even move during meetings. What happened is once Greenspan came in, and then after him with Bernanke, they wanted to have a transparent Fed that like signal like the Fed wants to signal everything they're doing so that they don't have a problem. They don't want to have a problem. So they're signaling it up, and that's what's going on here. But he makes the decision. I mean, 100%. Um, it's his call. He lives and dies by it, and the voting members vote. But I don't believe that if it's you know 8 members and 5 members want something else, that it goes that way. It goes the way of the Fed chairman. So he makes the call. Um, I believe. And, just looking across the board, the currency got wiped again, the dollar garbage against everything out there. Having a little bit better day this morning. Um, the trade that's getting me, which I'm still in, and I'm just looking for a little bit of mean reversion inside the trend, is oil, which is back above 64. Um, from 6180. Still think lower, but it's harder to stay in the trade. But I've been able, as a trader, to finance the losing position. So this is where I've usually been very good. So like let's say I'm short oil at 62 and it's 64, but my P&L across all asset classes is up. It allows me the ability to stay in this position. And then I don't have to have it go down to 64. If it goes down to 60, I'm sorry, to 62, if it goes down to 63, I'll be up a lot of money. So, I'm feeling like I can sit in this trade for a little bit, not understanding it. natural gas is getting wiped off the
I
planet.
don't. I don't. I used to do that. I stopped doing that, like letting my P and L from other positions dictate like a losing trade.
Why?
Uh,
That's the
I
greatest.
always,
That's the
I always,
greatest thing. Listen to me.
always
I totally disagree. Okay, and I've made hundreds of millions of dollars doing that. Okay, so I don't know why you would get out of. Okay, let's say all my positions are working. This position is not working. I'm up money. I killed it today. Why would I get out of a position that I believe in that has a better chance to mean revert because it's already moved 5% against me? So that's why I do it. Now, there are times when we got to hit the eject button because we're not able to cover those losses. But if I'm able to cover that loss, I'm now short crude oil at 64.10 rather than 62.10. So I like that.
yeah,
To me,
if you believe in
that's
the story,
what's
yeah.
made me a great trader. And I've said this, people that know me outside the podcast that have traded with me know that's how I make all my money or a lot of my money. Okay, is basically being able to finance by trading. Whether it used to be scalping S&P futures, I would scalp hundreds of thousands of dollars in S&P futures in a day. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. And then the position that's not working for me, I'm able to stay in. If I believe it, listen, if I don't believe in it, then I'll get out. But I believe this thing is going to go down and mean revert, for a number of different reasons. So my question to you is, why would you get out of that trade? If let's say you started out, you have
You
$1
gotta be
million
careful.
in just listen,
I,
you have $1 million in your account. Okay. Now you have 1,000,001. Why do you care right now about that position? It's like a rubber band. It's stretched. Okay. So all I need is it to come in a little. And then I could take it off and I've made money on all of it. Now, a lot of times I don't have the P&L to finance that position. And when I don't have the P&L to finance that position, we got to pull the ripcord. There are plenty of times where I look around and I'm like, oh my God, this is losing, that's losing. I got to cut it all or I got to cut part of it. But when I'm making money, why would I even want to take a position that I believe in off? Like, it's like, think about it. You equate it to a stock. Let's say you shorted Nvidia at 177, it's 179 and you're up on the day, but you like that position as a short. It's a way better short at 179 than it is 177. That's what I believe. So when you say you like, why are you taking it off? Are you finding a better trade? Like, to me, this is a great situation because if oil goes down on the day today, I'm crushing it. If it doesn't, I got to keep financing that position. And when I can't finance that position anymore, I have to pull the ripcord. So,
yeah,
P&L to
you
me,
may be able to kind of like toe the line with all this money. There's a lot of money management in what you're talking about. I think the average trader doesn't have that edge, and when they're up a lot, they'll let their losers ride because they're making money elsewhere. I think it's a dangerous road to travel for most people.
but I'm not under, but no, I don't look at, okay. I have positions today I'll tell you, I have positions in Palantir. I have a position in Nvidia. I have a position in oil. I got a number of different positions. I have like 7 positions today. Okay. In different things. Okay. But let's say my Nvidia position isn't working, but all my other positions are working. I'm looking at my position as one. Okay. And the way it really works, I may take off a profit and stay in a loss that I think is going to come back the other way, but I have to take, like, you know, I'm short Nvidia. It was down a little bit before we took off part of our positions. And the bottom line is, I'm doing that so that I can finance other positions. So, it's really money management. It's definitely trading and you know, and what I like to do is
Sure.
add by trading. But to me, the most stretched position that I have is oil because it just went up from 61 to 64. And I really think it's going to go back down. I may be wrong and I may be forced to cover it. But if my P&L is positive today, what does it matter where it goes out? Doesn't matter you know I mean, if it goes like, let's say it went up to 65, okay, I'm able to sustain that position because I'm got really good other positions. So, that's what I've been able to do over the years, is do this mean reversion thing where things get out of whack in finance positions. But there's many times where that doesn't work and you have to liquidate part of all of your book because you're not making money. So, you know, that's where we stand on that. Um, but overall, looking around the tape, bonds are the outlier. Um, I don't think the market could really rally anywhere without bonds. I think the market after Friday's move has become a little bit too confident. And, listen, we saw it a couple of times last week. The NASDAQ dropped 250 points in 5 minutes. So, you got to be careful for them pulling the rug. Uh, and really, that's what I see.
Hmm.
I, I don't know how can the market rally without the bonds. I mean, or without the bonds having the mantra of whatever. And I think the market got a little bit too exuberant over him cutting quarter point. Wouldn't you say?
I think they're looking for even more than a quarter point now.
Okay, so they're looking for a half, or they're looking for three quarters, or whatever. Okay, that's going to take some time. The first one is coming as a quarter. That's what I believe. I was thinking a half, but the more I think about it, with the data that we have, they should be doing zero. So I think they're going to throw in a quarter, which is such a joke. I mean, we may sell off hard off that, actually, because everyone knows it's a joke that he's cutting. He's cutting to stop the bleeding. He can't handle Trump. Trump is hitting him at every angle. Now he's hitting his players, the woman who violated it. How is she still in the Fed? Tell me. If you did something like that, you'd probably lose your job. I mean, how is she still in the Fed? I don't understand it. But, you got to operate at a higher ethics level if you're in the Fed. Okay. You're you're in front of information and all other things, etc. Um, and she knows right from wrong. Okay. So, that's an interesting thing that she's sitting around. I'm sure we haven't heard the last of it. Trump's been quiet, but there's other things I want to talk about. Let's talk about Trump and Putin and that whole thing that disappeared. That was probably the most embarrassing thing ever. He schedules up a meeting with Putin. He flies out to Alaska. Putin comes in. He's flying B-2 bombers all over the place. He's got plane displays. He's this, that. Okay. Their meeting didn't last 3 hours. Dude. I'm telling you, he flew everyone in. Marco Rubio, Howard Ludnick, Bessent, this one, that one, thinking they were going to talk. They didn't talk about anything. And
Yeah,
now Lavrov is saying there's no meeting and they're not even scheduling anything.
he
So,
brought the entourage.
no, but I'm not understanding. And then why are we not backing Ukraine with massive weaponry to take this guy out? Because Putin, he whispered in Macron's ear, which was on a hot mic, that Putin is going to do anything he wants. And then Trump gave the 2 weeks. Oh, we're giving him 2 weeks. Dude, he's given him 2 weeks for the last 5 months. Okay. So that's not disheartening to the market or anyone else that they can't stop this war. And literally, Putin played him like a fiddle, literally a fiddle. Like, he had a meeting with him. Trump begged him 8 ways to Sunday to stop. They couldn't get a ceasefire. They couldn't get anything, and they can't even get a meeting now. So that just goes away, like Iran, like Israel, like every other thing. It's amazing because if you look back on the market back in April, the market was so upside down off of every little thing Trump said. And now the market is in full taco. Okay, meaning like don't believe anything Trump says because he never follows through. So the market is in full taco. No matter what happens, listen, we went into that meeting very, very positive, and the market rallied off the fact they were having a meeting. They have a meeting, it's a complete fail. It's probably one of the most epic fails of all time. Okay. They can't get a ceasefire, they can't get a meeting, they can't get anything, and the market doesn't care. But when they were getting the meeting, the market rallied. So the market went in April from viewing things as very scary and negative to right now being, no matter what, it's positive. So I'm just curious why no one is discussing that fact. It's not even in the market. It's not a thought of the market, and it's just weird to me. And probably when they set up a meeting, which at some point they're going to set up a meeting, that, right? I mean, they're definitely going to have a meeting. Um, the bottom line is when they do that, you know what's going to happen? Market's going to rally. Am I wrong?
I'm surprised they even reacted to this the first time. I'm not sure what the effect on the market is. Ukraine and Russia. The only effect it ever really had was when they shut off gas to Europe, and that gas prices went up. But
So we rallied 6 times off the same thing. 6 times. We've rallied 2 times off of. We rallied 2 times off a trade deal with Britain that hasn't. Not one of these trade deals, by the way, is signed. Okay, doesn't that freak you out? Like I don't even think these deals are signed deals or completed deals, but nobody cares, dude. I've never seen a market like this. Nobody cares, and the tariffs are being raised and raised and raised. And I saw over the weekend he wants to tariff furniture. I mean, how is this not going to be? I mean, they're tariffing furniture, they're tariffing, manufacturing of retail massively. How is this not going to be massive inflation coming down the pipe? I mean, why is he tariffing furniture? Then the best part is, how about this? This is what's really crazy. Why is the government taking stakes in companies? Okay? Lend them money, do whatever you want to do, but why are they taking stakes? Like why are they taking a stake in Intel? Like what's the point? I mean, I know they're lending him money through the CHIPS Act, and he's changing it around because he hates Biden, and he wants to change it around. But overall, like, I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. That's the question of the day. Is like, why is the government taking a stake in Intel? Why is the government trying to get China to buy US chips and take 15% of the profits or the sales from Nvidia and AMD? Like why? What, don't they get enough money revenue from just taxing them? It's just I just think these are very dangerous things that are going on that people are not paying attention to. And the funny thing is, and I said it the other day, China's not even going to buy one thing from us. They're not buying one chip. Let me ask you a question. If you're China, would you want to put a US chip in your, in your stuff? Why would you? Who knows what's in that chip, you know?
yeah,
So
look, they're concerned about the security backdoors on the H20. Jensen had to come out and defend the company, say there's no security backdoors. So China doesn't really want the H20.
they don't want any of the chips. They said they're not buying US chips. That's why Nvidia traded on Friday 170 down $4 pre-open and then ended the day up $4. So, we had a $200 billion swing, but the true news was that China is not buying any of these chips. None of them. And they're not gonna. Okay? They're not gonna, and they shouldn't. Why should they? What's funny? No one's looking at what Sam Altman said. Did you see what Sam Altman said? He said they're going to beat us in the AI race and they're ahead of us. Okay. So why do they need our
He
chip?
said he said there's well Jensen also thinks they're gonna win in the AI race.
Okay. So then why do they need our
Sam
chips?
Altman said we're in an AI bubble.
Well, he said we're in a bubble, and he also said that China is ahead of us. That's what he said. So the bottom line is, even if they're not ahead of us, why do they want our stuff? I mean, I think that, they listen. Nvidia's been making chips over there. AMD, all these companies have been making chips. You don't think their people know how to make chips? I mean, come on, we're making them over there. We've been making them over there. They have all the advanced knowledge. So I don't know. I think, listen, I'm not, I'm going to try to stay away from saying that, we're in a bubble. Um, I think it's going to, listen, we're the week before Labor Day. So the volumes are going to be extremely light this week, last week of summer, pretty much before everyone goes back to school next week, right? So I expect it not to be crazy, but I've seen this before where people have to lighten before they get back from Labor Day because they're a little bit nervous. And I think that either by the mid to end of this week or next week, we're going to get some real trading here and some real situations. The summer's been really easy. I can see some kinks in the armor, but listen, we're here to trade every day, and that's
Yeah, we're here to trade every day, and maybe we don't have a real trading day today either. Straddles at 21.
okay. You know what? I don't know. On Friday, the straddle was 60, and it blew up to over 100. So, I mean, I don't know. 21 straddle is way too low. Um, you know, but maybe there's money to be made. You have to kind of pick a direction today, to make money on that. But overall, like, I mean, since I've gotten in this morning, market's creeping back up. It just can't go down. It's a weird thing, and the government bonds are leading the way here to, you know, to see, like, wouldn't you think you would see a reverse, like 2 days of up in bonds? You haven't seen that. And Hassett is on the tape right now saying the government is going to take more positions in different stocks. I mean, you think that is a positive? Why
It
is that a positive?
it doesn't look like it's capitalism. That's for sure.
Right, but no, it is. It's Trump wants to own all these. He thinks he's like got a trading account at Ameritrade and he's trading it up. Honestly, and he's gonna go to Kevin. Hey, Kevin, how's our positions today? How are we doing on our Intel position? I mean, come on. This is the only time the government has ever done this is in a crisis when they had to. Buyer of last resort. And you want to know what? I remember like it was yesterday in 2009. I got a phone call. This is a true story from Goldman Sachs, and they had the government stake in Citibank, in Citibank, Bank of America, and maybe it was Wells. And we bought 20 million shares of Bank of America and 20 million shares of Citi. We were one hedge fund. Okay. Bank of America was $2. The government they could have kept that stake forever. They wanted out of that stake so fast because they didn't want to own any securities because they felt like it was breaking like the mandate or whatever. Trump is the opposite. I'm telling you, he's sitting up there. He's like, "Oh, let's look at blah blah blah. We'll take a stake." Like, listen, why don't you just call? This is what they used to do, and they did this in '08. They would call the big hedge funds, and they're like, "Listen, we need you. We got the old wink. We got your back. Just take a 10% stake in XYZ." And the hedge funds were doing it. Now the government is doing that. How does that make you feel? It makes you feel good that the government is long a stock? Like, for what reason? Why does the government need to be long Intel?
Yeah, I don't know. All I could say is Japan buys stocks all the time. There are governments that do this. It's just
Okay, and Japan was
definitely not the
buying,
American way.
Eric, Japan was buying securities because their market was falling for 35 years. Okay. And I don't even know if they own stocks anymore. I don't even know. I mean, they used to make all of their waves in JGBs. Okay. But I mean, for the US government to own Intel makes 0 sense, or whatever they're going to buy. Like, what's the point? I'm not understanding. Owning the security isn't giving them money. What is it doing? I'm just curious what it's doing. So it's weird to me. It's not the right thing.
Maybe somehow they view this as a strategic move of some sort, and they teamed up with SoftBank on it. So
Why would they team up with SoftBank? Like, they want a Japanese concern to own Intel rather than every single PE firm in the United States? I mean, come on. It sounds absurd. Actually absurd. What he said to the guy, Masi-san, hey, go buy some Intel. The government's going to buy it. I mean, come on. And they're in at 21 and our government's in at 25. I mean, come on. It just sounds absurd. I mean, ridiculous. And it's not a good thing that the government is owning securities. That's my opinion. So, I don't want to spend any more time on that. We'll see what else, the thing came on the tape. They're buying other things. Maybe he'll buy Nvidia. Since it's not high enough, he might buy it. He likes Jensen, he'll buy that. Come on. The government has no business doing it.
what's your view on the Nvidia earnings?
They're going to be unbelievable. Better, dude, they're going to sell more chips than humanly possible. And the company should be worth at least 5 trillion. I mean, come on. They're
The
selling
trade.
chips.
What's the
So
trade
I
outlook?
I don't have faith. I don't have faith, okay, in Jensen telling the truth. I do think they have problems. I do not understand how the stock is at 177 when it was at 140 when they were supposed to sell the H20 chip in. Um, so that's a little bit bothersome. It's bothersome that there's, listen, there, I don't know if you've looked at this, and I think it's interesting for people out there, and we're getting deep in the podcast, so I want to get a little bit to markets, but I just want to say something funny. So I have a interactive brokers account that I look at, and IB starts trading on Sunday night these stocks at 8 p.m. Okay, this is not professional trading. This is retail at its finest. Okay. It's all retail to retail all night, 100 and 200 shares. Last night they had Nvidia up over $2. Then it comes in the morning and it's down, and it's every single day. Like, retail is setting the table overnight for this trading on odd lots. So I'm just concerned. Why? Let me ask you a question. What retail guy needs to start trading this at 9 o'clock on Sunday night? Okay, off of no news, and it's always skewed to the buy side. Always, it's always up. It's always skewed to the buy side. Retail is playing. This is literally a gambling casino. This is a gambling casino. Well, let me ask you. I'm watching the stock. It's 100 shares up the whole night. That can't be institution. No institution is trading 100 shares. And this thing is trading all night, up and down like this, all night, going up and down. So that doesn't make you afraid that now, within 6 months, trading is going to be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You will see it. But it's all retail. It's not institution. You don't see any size going through. Listen, maybe if there's a night or after the close, you know, there's a situation, but they move this stock, Eric, they move this stock hundreds of billions of dollars every day on the air. So that's really disturbing that retail is running this name. And I can show it to you anytime you want. Okay. Like, it's trading all night, every night. Tonight it'll be trading all night, up and down on 100 shares. So that's scary. So I think retail is pushing around the market. They are the market. Let's see if they
12
get
point,
diamond
12,
hands. Let's
12
see if
point,
they have diamond hands. What?
12 point straddle for Friday, Nvidia.
That doesn't seem that high. It's way less than 10%. That's low. Very low. So I guess they're not looking for anything too big. That's less than a 10, 10 would be what, 17 points. So that's like 7%. That's very low, I think, very low. So, there's probably capped upside, and if it goes down, everyone's going to want to buy it. So,
So what's the play with this kind of low straddle for a big earnings report?
I don't really, since we're late in the podcast, we'll get into that tomorrow. It'll get everyone prepped. I mean, the earnings are Wednesday after the close, so we could do it Wednesday. It'd probably be a better thing right before, in the morning before. But I don't want to really get into what it actually means and sort of the setup and what we think is a great trade. We'll wait on that till Wednesday. But I want to, we're about 12, 13 minutes for the opening. So I just want to, go through it. NASDAQ down 40 bips after being up 1.5%. Probably more to give back. I'm not saying it's happening off the opening, but I think more to give back, especially if the bonds continue to be weak. S&P down 17, hasn't moved very much since the opening. And, we'll, currencies again not moving, the dollar euros at 117. That's something I also want to talk about. It's like having this weak dollar is really negative in general overall for, I think, everything, and I think it has to be tariff related. Oil, same thing, up like 5 days, 6 days in a row, back to above 64. Let's see if it holds that level. Gold, same spot, that it always is, 33.64, you know, in no man's land, down a little today. Nat gas, I want to, talk about a little bit, hopefully tomorrow. Thinking about maybe a long there, but, you're more of an expert in nat gas than me. I've traded it, a
I've
lot,
been
but
I've been I've been getting badly burned trying to get long nat gas recently. And now that you're mentioning it, if you're getting long, maybe this is the spot.
I know. I mean, I didn't say I was getting long. I said it's interesting. People are, reaching out to me on it, so I'm going to take a clearer look at that. And really, like you said, straddle is cheap, but it may not be cheap because there's not a lot going on, and we're heading into we're heading into Nvidia's earnings, and it should be a fairly, it's last week of summer pretty much, right? It's Labor Day this Monday, right? And we you know we will relax. We will look at Nvidia. We'll look at nat gas moving forward. Take a clearer look at bonds. Since we've been on the podcast for about 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes, S&Ps have trickled up a little. Nasdaq has trickled up a little. The bias is still always to buy, so just keep that in the back of your mind. And we'll see moving forward how it plays out, but don't expect a lot today. Chop around. Market should be weaker than what it was, especially after having the day it had on Friday. So be careful out there, and I wish everyone luck trading today. And I don't know if you have anything to add, but we can close up. I think we covered a lot today. It's on you.
Yeah, not looking for a complete reversal of Friday's move, but maybe a 10, 15 point move to the downside to test that straddle level. Maybe a good time, a good spot for a reversion back to the upside. But I'll be looking to play both the call and put side today. Probably the put side first, since futures are down here. Maybe looking for another, like I said, 10 or 15 points to the downside before I trigger a put spread, and then hopefully it rallies and get a chance to sell a call spread on top.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll be back to everyone tomorrow. I wish everyone a great trading day today, and good luck.